Today, we're diving into the story of the man who built the world's tallest building and one of its largest malls. The guy who literally shaped one of the most iconic cities on the planet. And yet, the architect of modern Dubai is almost a complete mystery. This is the hidden story of Mohamed Alabbar.
But what if this wasn't just another success story? What if I told you this man came from the absolute depths of poverty, was shattered by the death of his father, and completely humbled by one business failure after another, only to become this silent billionaire who just avoids the spotlight? This is that hidden journey, and trust me, it's a powerful one.
So, where does a story like this even begin? Well, to really get who this silent architect is, we have to go way back. Back to a world that looks nothing like the one he would one day build. He was born in what we now call Old Dubai. You have to picture it, a world of sand and sea, long before the crazy skyscrapers. I mean, forget the city we know today. This was a time with very limited resources, and he was the oldest of 12 kids. So for him, responsibility wasn't some abstract lesson, it was just daily life. And you know, growing up like that, it forges you. Those early years built the absolute foundation of his character. He learned discipline, the kind you need to just keep going. He learned patience, to see a bigger picture. And maybe most importantly, he learned self-reliance. That feeling that at the end of the day, it's all on you. But foundations are meant to be tested, right? His path was anything but a straight line. In fact, his most important years were about to be defined by this period of intense struggle, a real trial by fire.
And then, life just hit him with a devastating blow. He lost his father. And this wasn't just a moment of sadness, it was one of those profound turning points. You know, the kind of thing that completely reshapes how you see the world, what you're responsible for, and even your own life. It forced a whole new level of seriousness on him.
And it wasn't just one thing. It was like a perfect storm. First, you have this deep personal grief. Then, on top of that, came professional failure. His first few businesses, they just completely flopped. And with that failure, of course, came this crushing weight of doubt and criticism from everyone around him. This was rock bottom. This was the moment where, honestly, most people would have just given up.
But he didn't, and that's the whole point. This moment of total collapse actually became the launchpad. This is where he chose a totally different path forward, and it's where the story really changes.
He basically had to rewire his entire brain. Just look at this shift. He moved on from chasing quick profits and short-term wins, which is what all his early failures were about. His new philosophy was all about a long-term vision. Not just for a company, but for an entire city. He stopped following trends and decided, you know what, I'm going to create the future.
And that's the absolute key to everything. He somehow developed this ability to see what Dubai could be long before anyone else on Earth could. While everyone else was looking at a patch of desert, he was seeing a global hub. He just had this deep conviction in a future that, back then, probably seemed completely insane.
Okay, but a vision is just an idea, right? It's nothing without execution. So how did he actually turn that impossible dream into concrete and steel? Well, this is where he literally started building the city of tomorrow. He took these massive concrete steps. First, he pushed for huge investments into the city's basic infrastructure. That led right to step 2. He founded Emaar Properties, the company that would become his engine for change. And through Emaar, he pulled off step 3, completely changing Dubai's skyline and putting that city firmly on the world map for good.
And his impact didn't just stop at Dubai's borders. Nope. Today, his influence is global. He's got major projects all over Asia, Africa, Europe, and, of course, the Middle East. But here's the craziest part. As his influence got bigger and bigger, he personally seemed to get quieter and quieter, retreating further from the public eye.
And that paradox, that's what brings us to the core philosophy that really defines the man today, his deep, deliberate belief in the power of silence.
Just think about these principles for a second. In our world today, they're so countercultural, right? He doesn't use his insane wealth to make noise or get attention. He doesn't turn his power into some big public show. And maybe the most important one, he doesn't let all that incredible success feed his ego. This is what it means to be a silent but incredibly powerful billionaire.
So, if there's one single lesson we can pull from Mohamed Alabbar's incredible story, it's this. Real, lasting success isn't loud. It's not about the spotlight. It's not about the applause. It's built quietly, piece by piece, with a clear vision, unbelievable patience, and just relentless consistency.
And that kind of leaves us with a final question to think about. In a world that is just getting louder and louder, constantly screaming for our attention, What truly monumental things could we build if we just embraced the power of silence?